Alright, how's it going, everybody? This is Ismortah, and this is episode... Oh, shit. I think it's 44 of my custom campaign of Kingdom Death Monster. I'm sorry, 45. 45. We're getting up there. Wow. And this is Lantern Year 14. Shit, make sure that's correct. Yes, Lantern Year 14, episode 45. And this is the hunt phase of this Lantern Year. Well, as I explained, it's the figuring out how I'm going to depart, and then the hunt phase, and then setting up for the showdown and the arrival. So before I get into it, you got to put stuff out. There are a couple things I wanted to correct from last video, just because I'll start to think about the strategy of what I want to do long term. First off was the endeavors that I'd done. When I thought about it after the stream on what I wanted, who I wanted to set up, I realized I don't need necessarily more insanity, and I definitely don't need more in survival because all these people are almost max in survival anyway. So it's pointless to spend one on battle paint for face painting. Now I'm not talking about doing Founder's Eye that I invested to try to get as many kids as possible, because that was my huge opportunity just to get as much bang for the buck, pun intended. But I don't need battle paint. And so what would have instead would have been better is to use the endeavor for another shadow ritual to share hard to come by fighting arts and secret fighting arts to share the rest of the tribe. That way I'm prepared. Because the problem right now is I'm overkilling the Antelope, and I need to be fighting at a higher level. But the reason why I'm hesitant is because I need to be able to absorb the blast and be able to get to it. So really that's what I need to put my focus on. Having one more survival isn't doing anything. I already have a lot of survival. And I don't even know what White Speaker does. I just know I need a high number to do it. And it has something to do with the Twilight Sword. But if I get Song of the Brave, I can more easily get through overcoming darkness, so I can engage level 2 monsters, which have always been the other side of overwhelming darkness. And with Shadow Ritual, I can share, I'm sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit. I can share, sorry, I'm hearing echo because my sound's out. I want to share stuff that I need to fight more powerful Nemesis monsters. So it's like, I need Red Fist. That's small bonuses. A whole bunch of small bonuses added together is a lot. I need to make sure I share the King Step. It was really hard to just get that ability. It wasted a lot of rounds. So it'd be great to go into it with people that have it. So I will need to make sure I don't lose it. And the fact that I've seen murder happen before, the person that has King's Fist is the possible target for causing murder because they're super insane. So I need to make sure I share it with the rest of the population. So what I'm going to do is, instead of face painting with just the battle paint one that I did, I'm going to instead do another shadow ritual and do it on Emily to share King Step with 3 other people. That's what I'm going to do. And so for the sake of brevity, what I'm going to do is just share it with the 3 people that I've created but haven't created gear grids for, and I'll just make a note that they have King Step and add it later. That's what I'm going to do. Alright? But the thing I need to add on Emily first is to see what this order she gets. And I've already shuffled and drawn. You see I've done that with other decks, including the Terrain and Disorder. So the disorder Emily's going to get is Anxiety. You are afraid of being afraid. You're a nervous wreck, and monsters can smell this in your scent. At the start of each showdown, you gain the priority target token unless you have stinky gear in your gear grid. So this just means you'll be attacked first, but the minute you're attacked, it goes away. So that's actually not a devastating disorder by any means. It just means that you'll be attacked first, which actually you can actually take an advantage of, because you know this person's going to get attacked first no matter what. You can make sure that this person has like blocking gear, for example. So it's anxiety, and I'll say priority, target, start, showdown. Okay? And then I'm going to share King Step with 3 other people, and for sake of brevity, I'll also put up 3 people that I have not created gear grids for. I'll just make a note here. I'll just do it on these 3. The 3 that have stats I haven't created yet. So I'll just say, as a note, I'll say learn King Step from Shadow Ritual. Actually, no, because I'm going to erase this. I'll just put all 3 here. I'll just say King Step. And I'll erase that later, because then I'll add that to the gear grids when I create it. Okay. So I've shared King Step, because I want to make sure there's 3 different ones in particular I want to make sure survive. One is King Step. I want to have everyone with King Step when I fight Kingsmen from this on forth. I want to make sure I always have one person with Red Fist whenever I go into any showdown. And I also want to make sure that everyone, humanly possible, has extra sense, because you can use 2 dodges. And that's one I need to make sure everybody has, actually. So actually, this Lantern Year, or next Lantern Year, when I have someone phase, I'm going to make sure that everyone in my entire fucking population has extra sense, because it's a lifesaver. Like right now, 3 out of 4 people who I'm currently using have extra sense. Which does sort of beg the question, maybe I should take Joy instead of Jer, just because that way everybody will have extra sense that's going out this round. I might actually do that. Just because... Well, I mean, I have 3 out of 4. Alright. Okay. So I backed up and did that, so I don't need this anymore. And I just want to make sure stuff persists in my settlement is the thing. Alright, so the next thing that I want to change was, which I jumped the gun and alluded to, was I don't want to do storytelling for my innovation. Because it's great to get another survival, sure. But the bigger win is if I can make sure I can do a level 2 hunt. Because the problem is overwhelming darkness, and I have to get over here. And Song of the Brave would allow me to do that. And like I said, I don't know what White Speaker does, but what I do know is it takes 2 endeavors, which is very costly, and it's only on 8+, so I have a low chance of even doing it. So it's just like, and I don't even know what it does. And it's like, do I need insanity and understanding? Not necessarily, because I have ways to gain insanity from other innovations I have in gear. So it's like, Song of the Brave would just allow me to do level 2. Why do I care? Because I'm at the stage in the game that I really need to make sure that I'm getting as much shit as possible. Because in order to make my weapon of the katana with the sheath take a shit ton of bone and organ. If I want to make Phoenix gear and a shield and maybe a whip, I need a shit ton of leather. So I just need a shit ton of supplies. And then later on, I need to farm a Phoenix just to get a couple materials I'm missing. But I need a shit ton of resources. And I already have situations that I'm losing resources from fucking festivals, like at Hands of Heat. So I just and you already see that I can maim an Antelope. I just need to be able to survive a hit and survive the hunt. And so that'll help me get there. And so I've already recorded this down, so I'm doing Song of the Brave instead of storytelling. So this is my innovation deck. So that means I learned Song of the Brave, and instead of adding records to this deck, which would still be in my auxiliary innovation cards, instead I'm adding Saga, which is from Song of the Brave, to the deck. And storytelling would still go back to that. So this is my innovation deck, which now has Saga and still has storytelling, but doesn't have records. Okay. It's just like the whole balance. Like, yeah, it's cool. It could be another story thing, but it's like I don't know what it does, and it's super expensive, and I need to start doing level 2 hunts now. Need to. I could always learn that thing later, but I need people to be doing more effective hunts so I get those resources that I need, or a higher chance of getting a bone or a hide that I need, because I'll be drawing so many resources I can do it. Okay, so I just want to backpedal and be like, it's interesting, but this is what I need. I need to overcome the darkness, right? And I need to make sure that if I ever fight the Kingsman ever again, which I will, that the ability to stop him persists, and I have it out the gate. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so now I have my starting people. Now we're ready to do the departure. So I'm going to do the departure bonuses right now. I've already updated who I'm sending out, which is Taken, Sona, Oko, and Jer. And the gear, what I'm using is, I'm still using a bow with the rawhide. I'm still using Qatar with the white lion. I am rocking an advantage on evasion with Sona, an advantage on strength by heavy multitude necklace with the white lion set. With the screaming antelope on the right, I'm using King Spear as normal, but also added the pickaxe so I can add this event that you see here. And then for the other screaming antelope set on the left, instead of using the bone club, I'm instead using skullcap hammers with blood paint. That way I can ensure that I can have a -1 speed token on the beast. So, and remember, Oko also has Immortal. So really I have 2 tanks and 2 DPS is what I'm rocking. Because Sona can also encourage people to give them back up and can add the speed, and this person can run around, remove moods, and heal. But really the main DPSers will be these 2. But if I'm advantageous, I'll probably attack with these 2, but these were the main 2 I want to wail, because this person can daze to get -1 speed and has a slight advantage to luck, whereas Jared has a huge advantage to luck. This is really my main DPS right here. So it's really DPS support, tank, but everyone obviously can contribute to damage, but this is really the main DPS right here that I want to do. Alright, so that's the strategy, and that's sort of my reasoning behind why am I doing another Shadow Ritual. And again, Shadow Ritual is something I add custom to my campaign. And then why I'm doing Song of the Brave. I mean, it's fitting because I want to overcome, light and darkness, overcome the darkness, but it just has more value. 1, survival more, or be able to actually hunt a level 2, right? And it's new content, because I haven't seen Mineral Gathering, we haven't seen Overwhelming Darkness in a while, and it'll be actually a lot more hunt spaces that we're going through. All right, cool. All right, so now let's do the departure bonuses. So as you know, one of them is everyone gets 3 survival. And then it's whatever else triggers. I have some stuff that triggers on arrival, but we'll just look at departure. Okay, so everyone gets 3 survival. And again, because I didn't do storytelling, my survival limit is 8. Alright, so let's go around the horn. So Jared gets 3 survival, he's already at 8, so he's maxed. And anything else on departure? No. and currently has 16 insanity. Oko gets 3 survival and goes from 7 to 8 because that's the cap. And currently has 3 insanity and also has, as you know, immortal, but you just need 3 to be insane. And anything else on departure? Nope. But does contribute to Acanthus and Mineral Gathering, which I'm already accounted for. Sona already has 8 survival, is maxed. Anything else on departure? On departure also has other ways to gain survival, which doesn't need at this point. Okay. And does get an evasion token during the showdown anyway. Yeah, because these don't come out until they rival, so I'll hide these for time being, actually. And then Taken is at 7 survival, so then goes to 8, departing. And anything on departure? No. And also will contribute to the Acanthus plants during the showdown. Alright, so we've done our departure bonuses, we have our peeps, we have the general strategy. So let's proceed. So the level 2, we are, like I hinted at, I'm going to hunt for the first time a level 2 quarry. So this is a level 2 Screaming Antelope. And that's why you notice it's starting, I have to encounter it here instead of here, so I have to go twice as many spaces, which will include a Mineral Gathering, which will also have a random hunt event in addition, and going through Overwhelming Darkness, and an additional Screaming Antelope. So this will be a long journey, so hopefully it pays out. I'm just at the point of the game that I know I can main this guy, I need to fight a level 2, so I need to allow me the best odds of doing it. And the fact that I have 3 people, everyone has full gear set, almost everyone has extra sense. I got hammers, which basically is the same thing as a shield, and that's also why I want to get as many materials as possible, because if I can make a shield and do the days, that means I can cancel 2 attacks from the monster, which is huge. And if I include that with extra sense, that's 4 attacks I can cancel. So I know I have more, probably enough to take on this guy, but I need to be strategery to make sure that I get the hits in that count. So like this guy needs to support this guy. So when I roll 6 dice, I have a good chance of hopefully getting a perfect 10. Plus, that's also ability I can share as well with people. I believe someone, unless they already died, did I get a perfect hit on a 9 instead of a 10, a 9 or above, and that would work well with this guy, just to ensure that I can always get that -1. Because with this weapon, I don't have to wound. I just have to hit in order to daze. So the strength doesn't even matter if I'm just doing that to CC the monster. Anyway, that's the strat I'm going for. And this is why I'm making the push for level 2. Because it's interesting content, and I'm at the point that I don't want to fall behind on resources. It's bad enough I'm getting mained by these festivals, but I need to make sure I have the resources to... Because, like I said, to make the Phoenix weapon and Phoenix gear takes a lot of resources. To get leather, even though I don't need that many, I need to ensure that I get hides to drop, so I need to draw a lot of resources. Okay, blah. Alright, so the miniatures I'm using are 2 of the starting males, because the guitar and the hammer both are males, and then I'm using the miniature for the bow and the miniature for the spear. And I'll put them up close again so you can see. Maybe I'm allergic to level 2s. Okay, this one will be the one with the guitars. The one who's the most fierce, because he's got the most fierce attack. And then the other one with the hammers will be this dude. And then the one with the bow, even though it's a she, just fitting because she's got a bow and a drum, which this model has. This guy kind of looks like Rambo. And then for the other dude, which I know this is a she, but because it has the king spear, is my Antelope guy. All right, so that's the 4. So now they need to determine the order of going through these events. I have to go through too many. It doesn't really matter. So I'm not going to really obsess over it. No one has a lot of courage, but Oko does have 3 understanding. So I think I'll just start with Jer and go around the horn like this. Is what I'm going to do. All right, so let's do it. We are ready to go. Let me get a swig of coffee. We'll do this. Again, this is hunting a level 2 Screaming Antelope, which I've never done before. I've never done a level 2 hunt, nor a level 2 showdown, so this is first. Alright, so we're going to start with, so let me arrange these guys in their order. That'll make it easier to keep track too. So we got Jer, and then Oko, and then Hammer Time, and then Bow. Bow person. Okay, so this is the orders. This so I just remember top to bottom. Cool. All right, let's do it. So the first one going into leading the charge is Jer. Let's see what we get. I just hope it's something other than Dead Antelope, because I've seen it so many times. I just want to see other cards, but yeah. Okay, so this first one is Vomit Pile. And I'll just show you what the format of the card looks like, but don't worry about trying to read it, because I'll read it to you. Because it all depends on if my camera focuses or not. Alright. The survivors find the half-digested remains of their quarry's last meal. Each survivor may scavenge, gain 1 courage, and roll on the table. Now see, this was one before that if I had consumable gear, I could lose it. So I'm just trying to see who has consumable gear. I think the only person is the Monster Grace is the only thing that's consumable at this point. So I could have everyone except this person do it, since I don't want to lose that. I could do that. Alright, I'll do that. So I'll go around the horn and not have Sona do it. Everybody else will contribute. Okay, so first we'll have Jer. What I'll do is I'll roll for everybody that's doing it, and then I'll look at the numbers later. So we got a 9. We got an 8. And we got a 4. And then Sona's not going to do it because I knew last time there was a problem with consumable gear. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, so a 9 is... The Antelope is clearly sick, vomiting up pieces of itself. Gain +1 understanding and 1 random Screaming Antelope resource. Awesome. So let me look at it again. It's 1 understanding. So it goes from 1 to 2 understanding. And then a resource. And we got a pelt. Okay, and then next up is an 8. You find something undigested and eat it. Gain 1 survival, which does nothing because I'm already at 8. And then a 4 is sickening, archive all consumable gear, has no consumable gear. Okay, so that is that for that. That's it for that event. All right. Next one to lead the charge will be Oko. And this I roll on the hunt table. So again, it's rolling 2 dice, the white being 10s, the black being 1s, and it'll tell me what number to look up on the table. Okay, so I got a 57. See what that is. 57. Gorm's Laughter. And Gorm is the name of a particular creature of which I don't have the expansion for. That's so you can see it. It's Gorm. Gorm's Laughter. The rhythmic wail of a Gorm laughter reaches the survivors, filling them with fear. The cackling follows the survivors, tormenting them until they reach their quarry. Place a token on every hunt board space between the survivors and their quarry. When the survivors move into a space with a token, remove it, and all non-death survivors suffer 1 brain event damage. Wow, so this one is actually devastating. That means everyone's going to take massive brain damage before it even gets to the monster. But let me see where it starts. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I mean that's 5 brain damage right there. Holy shit. And Oko only has 3 insanity. So that is actually a huge problem. Huge, actually. Huge. Place a token on every hunt board space between the survivors and the quarry. Wow. Wow, that's actually devastating. Okay, so I use bleed tokens. Oh, no, it's insane. So I got insanity stuff. I'll do these. So what I'm saying is that means that even though Oko was going to get 4 insanity when he joins the Showdown, right now he only has 3, and he could potentially kick the bucket before even getting to the Showdown. It's possible. Because I have to roll on the table twice. Because technically I'm in this space. I rolled for the space, so a token goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Assuming the monster doesn't move. When survivors move into space with a token, remove it, and all non-death survivors suffer 1 brain event damage. Wow, so that is devastating. Yeah, I mean that was very unexpected. Here I thought people had a good insanity levels. Might actually be problematic now because shit. Man. Alright, so that was that event. Next one leading the charge is going to be Taken. I keep wanting to say Taken because that's how it's spelled if you look at it in English, but it's pronounced Taken. It's Japanese. Like Takenoko, the board game. That's where I got it from. Alright, so next one is another Screaming Antelope event. I'll do the brain damage after the event. Or is it right when I move into space? No, it looks like it's immediately. Okay, so everyone takes 1 brain damage. So Oko goes 3 to 2. Jer goes 16 to 15. Taken goes 8 to 7. And Sona goes 6 to 5. And that's why it's important to have on the timing. It's like, do you get your bonuses before the hunt or after? But man, Oko, like he was gonna get 4 more insanity, but shit, he is gonna be in a pickle. Alright, so we did that. Now we see what the event is. We have Stampede. A thunderous boom approaches. The survivors may hide. If they do, move the quarry 1 space back. Otherwise, all survivors gain 1 courage and roll. So, okay, so this brings up the same question again. I don't know what move 1 space back means on the board. What I'm assuming is, because you're hunting a quarry, whenever the quarry moves forward, I'm assuming it's destruction, because when the survivors move forward, this is forward. So I'm assuming moving back means it moves 1 closer to us, but I don't actually know. So I'm going to try looking the up right quick to see if I can't find a ruling, but otherwise this is how I'm going to rule it. This is forward and this is backward. So we're chasing after trying to hunt this guy. If he stampedes at us and moves backward, that means he's charging us. So it kind of makes sense. But let me look that up right quick. Because there's a choice whether I want to hide from it or engage it. Okay, so that's backward. How about move, monster movement on hunt track? Yeah, someone has exactly the same question here. Wait, what? I'm trying to look it up right now. Yeah, because the book doesn't specify what forward and backwards means. So, like, does moving this direction mean forward and this direction mean backward? Or do the survivors move forward this way and the monster moves forward that way? It's not stated. I'm assuming we're chasing it, so this is forward and that's backward for everybody. So that's what I'm trying to find out. If I can't find us, and I don't want to go off opinion. So if I don't get consensus opinion or rulebook reference, which I looked at the rulebook, there isn't, then I'm just going to keep playing how that is. Because that's how I did Stampede last time. Towards or away? Did it say towards or away? I thought it said forward or backward. It didn't say towards or away. They're saying it says towards or away. Does it? No, it says move one space back. That's mean. It doesn't mean back from going this way or back away from the survivor. So it's not clear. I'm not getting a clear answer so far. I found on Reddit. I'll look one more spot and I'll proceed with how I played it last time. Yeah, because I'm seeing. Because I don't want to go over popular opinion. I want to go over what's in the rulebook, and the rulebook doesn't say. And there's so far people saying it could be one or the other. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna proceed with how I played. So, that's what I'm gonna do. Because this is not interesting content waiting for me to try to Google shit. Alright, so let's look at this again. Stampede. So it says a thunderous boom approaches. The survivors may hide. If they do, move to quarry one space back. So it acts like it's other antelopes other than the one they're going after. So if I hide and they stampede, he comes toward me. Which that sort of makes sense. Like they're stampeding toward me. So it's either I hide and it comes one closer, or I stand my ground and something bad happens, or I could potentially start the showdown. So that's how I'm gonna rule it. Because again, it's not clear. You can make the argument what back means. People moving this way, the monster's moving in this direction, and it's moving back. Because I kind of consider this as a chase, going after it. Okay, so we're going to hide. That's just how I'm going to play it. Like I said, it's not clear, so you can roll one or the other. Okay, so that was Stampede. Because basically, if I choose not to hide, then roll on the table and bad stuff could happen. And I don't want to get stampeded. So, alright. Alright, so next up, who's going forward is the bow person. And that triggers another Gorm thing. So everyone takes 1 brain damage. And then I roll on the table. So Jared goes 15 to 14. Man, this thing is really annihilating my people. Oka goes 2 to 1. Talkin goes 7 to 6. Only because like I had a bunch of insanity also to protect me from other bad shit. 5 to 4. And then we roll on the table, see what happens. Of course, it would kind of make sense that, if there's some cards that make the monster move so you starve, that, that would be back. But like I say, it's just not fucking clear. It says back. So, and they never say orientation. They say the survivors advance, but they never say it's forward or back. Like, this is moving forward. I don't know. I don't know. That's how I'll play it. I don't care. I'm already getting punched by this Gorm shit that's happening right now anyway. Okay, so we got 26. — 26 is something. 26 says pit. The ground beneath the event revealer's feet gives way and they plummet into a pit below. The event revealer rolls a d10. If someone has a whip, again, see the whip, then you wouldn't have to roll the table, instead they throw you a line. If the event revealer has the tumble fighting art, which does not, then you can have a bonus by catching a ledge. Haul yourself up and gain a speed token. And don't roll on the table. I think I had someone tumble, but not anyone's currently out. Oh no, Jera's tumble. But it has to be the event revealer. And the event revealer is Sona. So I roll on the table to see what happens. It's a d10. Okay, that's a 6. You land at the bottom with a loud thud. Suffer 2 event damage to a random hit location and archive all fragile gear in your gear grid. I don't think I have anything fragile, because otherwise I wouldn't attack with it. So there's nothing fragile, but I do take 2 event damage. And I take 2 to chest. So chest now is at 0. Alright. Everybody moves forward. Cool. So now I'll move to mineral gathering. But I take the brain damage first. So everyone takes 1 brain damage. Oko goes to 0. Jared goes to 13. Talkin goes to 5. And Sona goes to 3. Man, that is really devastating. Everyone takes 5 brain damage. Jesus Christ. Alright, so now I do mineral gathering and the event. So since this is special, I'll do that first. So I do mineral gathering. So this is the first time I'm doing it. That's going to be cool. Get the minerals. Okay. Every survivor with a pickaxe can roll on the mineral gathering table. So that's interesting. So I mean, when I do mineral gathering, even though there's only 1 event, if multiple people have a pickaxe, then you can roll multiple times. That's very cool. And then it also looks like here that if you roll an 8+, there's an advantage that if you actually do it, if you have this event over here, on the other side of Overwhelming Darkness, because then this possible looks like you can find a tunnel or other stuff. So that's interesting. Okay. That's good to know, because I knew you can only have 1 event, but you can have anyone with an axe or the appropriate tool participate in the event. So, interesting. All right, so it looks like I roll a d10 and see what happens. I got a 6. 6 to 7, you find 1 iron strange resource among the unyielding stone faces. As you free it, roll a d10. And on a 6+, I lose actually my pickaxe. Wow, that's terrible. Wow. Man, It's really hard to get iron then. Wow, I didn't realize it's such a fucking liability. That's actually an interesting problem. So, iron's then really hard to come by. Even more so than I thought. So I rolled a 9. So I got an iron strange resource, but then now I lost a pickaxe. That's interesting. And by interesting, I mean not good. It looks like it's really hard to get iron. It looks like the best place to get iron is if you're rolling and actually find these caves. Because if you're just carving stone faces, you can destroy your tool, looks like. It's good to know. Okay, so I lost a pickaxe. But I did get an iron. So that means that iron that I had way back in the day, I should have kept. Unfortunately. I mean, like, way back in the campaign. Very beginning. Okay. Make sure I read that correctly. And see, that's another reason why I need a lot of resources, because what if you have to keep re-getting pickaxes and stuff? That's another prime example. You need these particular resources, but it takes a lot of resources to turn it into the one that you want. All right, anyway, cool, we got something. So that was that event. Now we roll also on the table. We got a 91. That was a 1. Oh, and here's a picture, I'm sorry, of the mineral gathering. The art is on the left. And on the right, you see a table of the higher number you roll at the top, the better what happens. But then if you roll 8+, then you do the secondary tiered things that could happen below, depending on how deep you dig. Finding caves and stuff. All right, so we got a 91. That's interesting. So, man, iron is super hard to come by. And it also uses leather, so that means you also have to turn stuff into leather to even do it. So it's hard to come by. All right, 91. The beginning. The survivors stumble upon the scene of their settlement's first hunt, which was a level 1 white lion. Unless they're talking about also the prelude. No, that wasn't a hunt, though. That was they got attacked. Whether they've seen it themselves or heard of it through stories, they immediately recognize it. Seeing the spot of their settlement's first triumph is electrifying. No, it's probably just a prelude, because that was a hunt. Each survivor gains 1 survival, and then if the settlement has saga, people get courage, and if the settlement has storytelling, also gain understanding. Storytelling, see? But yeah, remember I changed it. Okay, so everyone gets 1 survival. So this was actually a good location. Everyone gets 1 survival. If they have it, but I believe everyone's maxed, which they are. Okay. So the next space we go to is Overwhelming Darkness, which is led by Oko, which is fitting because remember that's a person that back in the day was super crazy, but now is actually the only sane person. But I do have Song of the Brave. And Song of the Brave says, during the Overwhelming Darkness story event, each non-death survivor may select the Path of the Brave. So everyone's going to select Path of the Brave. Because before, when I did that once before, for whatever reason, remember I had like half the party did Doomed and half the party Path of the Doomed and half the party did Path of the Insane, and both had bad shit happen. But Path of the Brave should be a lot better. Theoretically. Hopefully. So let me look that up. Overwhelming Darkness. 147. And before I do that, I'll have everyone take 1 brain damage. So Oko, it has light damage. Jared goes from 13 to 12. Sona goes from 3 to 2, so is no longer insane. Talkin goes from 5 to 4, still insane. But remember, also have Screaming Horns that can give people insanity, 2 of them. And the people Screaming Bracers, with Screaming Leg Warmers will also get additional insanity, and then the drum will give people insanity. I just need people to just live to get to the showdown. Then people will get an insanity boost. But the problem is Oko, I'm not sure he's going to make it. I'll have to check the ruling on how this triggers, whether I actually look at this or not. But I'll cross the bridge here in a sec. So this is Overwhelming Darkness, the art on the left. Light in the darkness. And then these are the choices, depending on what you satisfy for, and then you roll on the appropriate table. So I've done Doomed and Insane before, but this time I'm going to have the entire party do Brave, since I have Song of the Brave. And that's the whole reason why I did this, is because it's the best path. So that I can do a level 2 hunt more successfully. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and roll for everybody. And then I'll look up what it means later. So I'll start with Oko and just go around. So we got a 2, which is probably bad. A 4, which is probably also bad, but not as bad. Higher numbers are better. Got a 6. And a 6. 2, 4, 6, 6. So the 2. You punch yourself in the face to chase away doubt. Gain a -1 accuracy token. So that's means it's hard to hit during the showdown. But it'll be counteracted because of Song of the Brave, because this allows me to remove 1 negative token when I start the showdown. So, see, it's good. But I'll do it for the time being because it's possible I could get multiple negative stuff. So that got a -1 token. For the 4, a massive whale swims overhead. Your guts quiver with its booming cries. You vomit in fear, but keep a brave face. Gain a -1 evasion token. And then after this event, all other survivors gain 1 survival from your bold display. But everybody is already capped at 8. So, again, this person gets a -1 evasion token. And then it's actually the same result 4 through 6. So all 3 of these people get a -1 evasion token. Meaning it's just easier for the monster to hit. Okay, so I need 3 -1 evasions, which I'm sure I don't have enough over there. So, but fortunately, because Song of the Brave, everybody should be able to lose these when the showdown starts. So -1 evasions and -1 accuracy. But we got through it. Otherwise, like before, people died, right? All right. So that's it for Overwhelming Darkness. Now, I'm going to check the ruling on this. Because I know when you go into this space, you just start the showdown. Meaning you don't do anything on the space. So, for example, I know when you go into space, you don't do any of the events. And this technically is an event. So I'm going to see whether... Basically, I'm trying to see whether I get this last 1 damage to brain. Because if I do, then that means Oko has to roll on the table. So, and that's what I'm looking up, because it actually does matter. So give me another sec to look that up. I'm checking the book right now. So what I'm looking up is the hunt, to see when stuff triggers, the timing. Because this says, when you move into the space. But when you move into space, this triggers. But when you move into space, this also triggers. So that's what I'm trying to see is what happens, what doesn't happen. Like, I know the event doesn't happen. That's why I'm kind of considering this as an event. It's something that would, but I'm checking. Wording is important, and the wording isn't always clear. Sometimes it's ambiguous, whether something happens or not. So that's what I'm checking. The seat on that space, if you had stuff in the space, do you ignore everything and start the showdown? That's basically the terminology I'm looking for. Quick. On what starts the hunt? I mean, what starts the showdown? And see, that's also why I thought of Stampede going toward, because when it monster ambushes, it's like an attack, and the Stampede was like an attack on them. Anyway, that's how I'm going to play it. I don't care. Because it wasn't clear, and that's what I did last time, and thematically, that sort of makes sense. Like, it's rushing toward us. Rah. It's following the Stampede. Okay, I'm trying to see what starts the showdown. One sec. Oh, that's interesting to know. Oh man, I think I fucked that up last. God, there's just too many fucking rules in this game. It says here that unless something says that your character dies, when you're doing the hunt, you actually never roll on the severe injury table at all, ever. So unless your character says they die because some thematic thing happened, you never roll on the table. So for brain damage or physical. I did not know that. So that means those two people that died during the hunt probably should not have died, but I forgot how they died also. But yeah. So that's good to know. So so you only can actually die if it specifically says like you die if you roll something. You don't roll on the table otherwise. Good to know. I'm sure I definitely screwed that up one lantern year when two people died during the hunt. That's positive. Okay, let's see here. I'm trying to find the wordage. When does the showdown start? I mean, it says here, if the survivors move into the same space as the monster on their hunt turn, the hunt phase is over, and the showdown phase begins immediately. Do not resolve any hunt events. And this was the product of the event. So I would argue that none of this stuff happens. Like, right when I go to the monster, we're engaged. So that's how I'll play it. Because I count this the same thing as this. Like, this is the event stuff that can happen. That I just encounter the monster. Alright, so that's how I'm going to rule it. Is it right? Not entirely sure, but it sort of makes sense. This is an event. This is an event. And it says when you encounter, you do no event stuff, you immediately start the showdown. Alright, so we found the monster. We got through the darkness. Now, because we got through the darkness, it says here, The survivors lift their voices into the darkness. On arrival, each non-deaf survivor may remove one negative attribute token. So all these negative tokens that I got go away. Boom. Awesome. And that's why I wanted to get Song of the Brave. That's exactly why. So I can actually do these events and not be too handicapped. Actually, it's not handicapped. Handicapped means it's easier for you. It's more like maimed. And then everyone gets their bonuses. So Sona gets +1 evasion and a +1 strength, +1 strength, +1 strength, +1 strength. The evasion is because of rhythm. Chaser and the +1 strength is because of Red Fist. Alright. Let's make sure I keep tokens near the stats so I don't not look at them. Cool, so now we start the event. And we did get a couple pieces out of it. It's kind of disappointing, though, how difficult it is to get ore from mining. It's almost like it's a glorified way you transforming materials into ore. Just like with Forbidden Dance, that you can turn any resources potentially into hides, which then turn to leather. So it's like you have to spend a bunch of stuff to get one thing you really want. So that's what I mean. Like that's why another reason we need a shit ton of resources. So I keep making more pickaxes, or have multiple people with pickaxes, you know, or multiple chances to get hides to drop, so on and so forth. But interesting revelation. What's also interesting is if I put something here, I can mine. But like in this case, because I haven't moved backwards, if I had put it here, I would not have done it at all. So, see what I'm saying? But I can see now the advantage of having multiple pickaxes, so you ensure that at least one person triggers the 8+, potentially. I can see that. Yep. Okay, anyway, we got some stuff, so now we start the showdown. So I'm not going to play the showdown this stream, as you know, but I'm going to do the arrival bonuses and set up the board for the showdown. The strategy. Okay. So we need this. We need these. Move this back a little bit because I need to be able to see the edge of the board. Okay. This guy is, of course, in the center, facing down. These guys come out. Okay. So see, Song of the Brave. That's me. Like, you know, one more survival or the ability to actually do different encounters. So, cool. All right. So, what are we setting up? So let me put these away, first of all. I would argue you probably can't even successfully even hunt a level 2 unless you have Song of the Brave. Between the negative tokens and actually surviving during the darkness. But I mean, to be honest, it was cool. People died during the hunt, and it showed how lethal it could be. But apparently that was a mechanic screwed up, but it made it interesting to watch anyway. Just like whatever you think as far as if I fought the right level of the hand last video, doesn't matter. It was a fun experience to watch. The fact that the fight went a completely different way, it was a fun experience. It is about the fun, right? Okay, so what I set up is 1 bug patch, 6 acanthus, because I have 4, but I have 2 people that have screaming bracers, so I can put 2 more. And then I have 2 random terrains, which I hope one of them is actually an ore. Fingers crossed. No. We got stone columns and giant stone face. Giant stone face is interesting because my bow persons on it would have more range and accuracy. And the stone columns I could use to dodge line of sight, but is destructible. Okay. So we need a stone face. We need 3 columns. We need a bug. And then we need all of the acanthus. It should be 12. No. Wait a minute. Actually, no, it should be... Let me check. Screaming Antelope, you start with 3 cards, and then I add 2 more. So actually I should have 10 plants. Whatever the max is, I should have, actually. So that is not quite correct. But I think this is absolutely all the Acanthus, if I recall. Like, I thought there's only 8 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we have 8 Acanthus. 8 Acanthus, a bug, a face, and that. And for the setup, as far as where the survivors need to be, the survivors are on the long edge of the board, and then the bug's on the side. Yeah. So the bug is 4 away, and then the survivors have to start here, along the edge. And the Acanthus has to be in a diamond formation as spread out as possible. For 6 of them, the other 2, it's based on the actual rules. So that, I think last time I did it, I had all the Acanthus follow the same rule for setup, and that's not true. It's only 6 of the 8 that follow that rule. So the bug goes there. Let's see, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So sure, we'll do that. Okay. That's not quite right. Okay, so it's close. So we'll do that. So we have the Acanthus set up. Now I have 2 more Acanthus, and these 2 have to follow normal rules to have to be 6 spaces away from other Acanthus. And all the terrain, these have to be 4 spaces from all the terrain, and this one just has to be 5 spaces from all board edges. So I could definitely put it here if I wanted to. Closer to us. That works. I could put it there, for sure. Just gotta place everything else. So this version of the Antelope will be going more crazy. And remember, I still have to do the arrival. Actually, I'll do it right now before I forget. I normally do arrival and then I set up. So right now I'll do all of the arrival bonuses before I forget. Okay, so everybody gets 1 survival, but everyone's already at 8. So everybody would get 1 sanity on top of whatever else is going on. Alright, so I'll just go around the horn. And I'm looking for the word arrival. Okay, so it gets 1 insanity, so it goes from 12 to 13. Oko gets 4 insanity because gets 3 from the legs and 1 from the drum, so it gets 4. So it goes from 0 to 4, but already has 1 damage to brain, but does get 4, so is insane. Meaning we'll have immortal until it becomes not insane. Sona gets 1 insanity. So it goes from 2 to 3, so it is now insane. And remember, everyone with Screaming Antelope, with Screaming Horns can give people insanity if they don't have it, if they're not insane. Same with the White Lion Helm. But if you are insane, the Horns instead will give you +1 movement till the end of the round, where the Lion Helm will get +2 strength until the end of the round. So really, the best one to give people insanity is this, because these two, because it doesn't cost survival. But the best one to give strength is the Helm, gets +2, but you have to spend a survival to do it. And then Taken gets 1 insanity, gets 4 insanity because it has leg warmers as well, so it gets 4. Yeah, so it goes from 4 to 8. So the insanity is kind of a problem because every time the Antelope does his trap card, that will do actually 2 damage instead of 1 for brain. But I'll check, unless the damage modifier only modifies strength. I kind of thought I did both, but I'll definitely check that before next stream. But I have, for insanity, 8, 3, 4, 13. And everyone has 8 survival. Everyone is insane. Insane. Alright, so we did all the arrival bonuses. People have their tokens. Removed all the negative tokens. Alright. Like I said, I definitely want a crit farm, but unlike when I fought the last Antelope, I want everyone to hit as hard as possible. Because this guy is going to be very more unforgiving as far as doing damage, and he's also going to charge around like somebody slapped him in the butt. So any opportunity I have to do damage, I need to blast this guy. Unless I'm using team members to support others for some reason, because they're in a tactical advantage. Alright, cool. Alright, so now let's get Scepter's stuff. So I know when he charges, because that's his new ability, Diabolical, he's going to charge in our orthogonal. He'll attack and then he'll charge forward. So what I want to try to do is, I could put these down, but this isn't going to stop the monster's movement. It only stops mine. If the monster goes through it, he just destroys it. I'll double check that, but I don't think it slows him down at all. Yeah, it just said it's archived. So these are only good for stopping line of sight, not for slowing down the monster. This will slow down the monster. The monster can't go over this. Or can they? No, impassable is only to the survivors. So the monster can go over this. I don't know if I played that wrong before, but... So no obstacle stops monster movement. It just stops survivor movement. But it does block line of sight. So this has to be 4 space away from anything. So I could place something there, let's say. Because by blocking line of sight, you can make yourself not a target of aggro. So if he's going to charge forward, then what would stop then someone from seeing you is having something like this. So... Trying to think what's best to do. I'm not sure. Not entirely sure. Could place one there. Could place one there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Could do something like that. That way, if he charges all the way to the end of the board, I could hide around it, possibly. Maybe. These I want to try to put back here to loot, because I might even need these during the fight. These have to be just 6 spaces from other acanthus. Could do that. Could also do that. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I could do a setup like that and have survivors start on this edge and pick up these acanthus. Line of sight would be blocked because of this corner. If somebody went here, I could do that. Yeah, I think so. But man, or here I thought it was something you can just get easily. It's more like a conversion, like you've played a board game, or like Catan, to say I'm going to trade 3 wool for 1 wood. That's kind of like what it is. It's not 1 for 1, so you need a lot of resource. So knock on KDM. That's why I'm doing a higher level dude. Plus, in a couple Lantern years, I am going to fight a level 2 Butcher, so it's like the level 2 is going to happen. Regardless, so I might as well prepare on the easier fight and try to gear up before the Butcher. That's the idea. The whole point is to survive these Nemesis encounters. Okay. So where's everyone going to start? And where people start might change between the end of this stream and the next episode when I start thinking about other strategies I want to do on how to engage, but I'll just have initial stats set up. But the board most likely is going to stay the same. Alright, so this guy, I have 2 people that can charge forward. Actually, 3 people that have charge abilities. These people move the most, so maybe I'll have these guys be on the sides. Plus, they can pick up the acanthus. And then the cat person can be just off center, maybe. See, the problem is do I want to split up the party and surround, or do I want to go around one side? I definitely want to try to keep the monster in a corner. That way he's limited how far he can run, potentially. So maybe I'll have everyone just favor a side. So if that's the case, maybe I'll do something like that. I'll do something like that. My fear is the monsters, everybody's out of line of sight. So I don't think it's charge initially. So I'll go with that. Best guess. The archer would do better on top of here. So maybe switch these 2. That way the archer can climb up here. This guy can pick up, dash. Sure. Right. So that's where we're going to roll with. Cool. So that's going to be the end of this stream. We survived a level 2 hunt. And now we're ready for the showdown next episode. So again, this could be fighting my first level 2 monster in the history of ever. See how it goes. And again, the reason I'm fighting the level 2 is because you get more resources, especially from the Screaming Antelope as opposed to White Lion. In addition to, since the Antelope is still prone to dropping a lot of materials off a lot of cards if you crit, that's why I'm also trying to crit as well, to crit farm. So I can make, more pickaxes, other leather gear, and start saving up to make the Phoenix level gear, which I'm sure I'll need for the fights, either the weapon or the armor. So that's the intention. All right, well, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see what happens next episode. Again, this is Ismortah, and thanks for watching.